Hey guys, it's Adam. Quick note, we recorded this episode and then about an hour in, we realized it was recording on the wrong microphone, but we really enjoyed the conversation we had. Everything felt natural. We didn't want to try to force it all back again. So we're going to do what we can to make it kind of equaled out and as best quality as possible. But if there is a bit of a dip in quality or some people sound a little quieter or louder, that's why. But thanks for listening and enjoy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the island. I'm Andrew.
I'm Adam.
And we are the Castaway Brothers, and we are joined by our good friend Kareem today.
Yo.
Adam, why...
I thought you were just gonna wave. It looked like you were just gonna wave.
Adam, why do we have Kareem with us today?
Monster Hunter.
We're going to give Adam a chance to breathe for a second.
Good. Okay. Because we planned this back in...
Before Monster Hunter came out in theaters, the movie.
Was that January? When did that come out?
December. It came out like Christmas, right before Christmas.
Yeah, we were planning on doing this a lot earlier before we did.
But our brothers had a wedding. We had some COVID scares and just work. We've been busy. We just have not really had a chance to be able to do anything. I got behind on editing and uploading. We finally are caught up. We're going to try to get back on the somewhat regular schedule now. But Kareem is our resident, and the person we know is our resident. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
I'm not bailing you out of this.
Yeah, I know what I'm trying to say.
Go for it, man.
He is our resident Monster Hunter expert, which just means he knows more about Monster Hunter than either of us and anyone else in our friend group.
Yeah.
So
we've
also,
especially since Monster Hunter World, have been really into Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of our. It's probably my second favorite video game series of all time. Let's drop it in third, maybe second. It depends on the day.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Also, we love having Kareem around and hanging out with him, and he tolerates us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this alcohol helps.
I'm sure it does. We are a riot.
He's just holding
up.
I know why I'm here.
Right. So first, let's get into this. What is Monster Hunter?
Okay, so I actually ask that, like, whenever I bring up that, like, oh, Monster Hunter is one of my favorite games. Like, oh, what do you do? And surprisingly, you hunt monsters.
Weird.
Right? It's actually weird how many people are like, oh, what else? Hunt monsters.
Let's give an actual description now.
Okay, go for it.
No, this is your territory.
All right.
I probably can help here.
Please go.
I almost spit tea all over you.
To give a description of what Monster Hunter is, it's an action RPG game. The basic premise is you go, you hunt these giant, majestic, and scary monsters, you carve them up, you make equipment out of them, armor and weapons and everything else you can think of, while trying not to die in the process.
Yeah.
And you do it all over again after that.
The grind is real.
Oh yeah, the grind is so real.
I generally put it in, like, it has almost Dark Souls style combat with very evasion heavy, and like a few weapons have blocks and stuff, but it's against a giant foe who has mountains of health that you can just chip away at over about usually 10 to 20 minutes at a time.
Depending on which game you're playing, will most likely look like some sort of dragon. Monster Hunter World, I'm looking at you.
Yes.
It really is. You really gotta learn the pattern. It's like
It is exactly like that's the biggest thing is. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But it's you rarely just beat a monster first go. It's a lot of learning their patterns, learning like what good against them, what to use against them, and like what to avoid doing, because there are certain things that it goes badly if you try stuff.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, one of the most satisfying feelings is when you've got like a full party of 4, and you go up on a monster and they don't stand a chance.
Oh yeah.
When you have such a good team comp that the monster barely gets to move before dying, it's such a great feeling.
It's that real God feel there.
Yes.
Like you're like a super hunter or something.
Mm-hmm. Especially because like I've played Monster Hunter since 4 Ultimate.
I was actually about to go into where we started.
And throughout most of that, it was single player. I didn't. I got a buddy in college. We got the game at the same time. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna play through this together. He played literally one mission. He's like, this isn't for me. Yep. And I'm like, you don't know. Try it. I'm having trouble with egg delivering mission 2.
You know, to touch on that, for some reason, Monster Hunter is a series that is either you like it or you don't.
There's no in between.
It's either love or hate. There is very rarely it's alright.
You said egg mission?
Yes.
It gets everybody.
It almost got me.
You got me into 4 of you. You got me to go get it, and I started playing with you and a friend that we worked with at the time.
Yeah, that was a long, like a few years after when I kind of almost dropped the game. A guy we worked with, I found out he played it, so we ended up playing that a few times.
Renewed your love.
Renewed my love, and it's just like you never could get really into it.
Not because it was on the 3DS.
That
was the biggest thing, because of the way the controls were. It made my hands cramp after like 2 minutes of playing it, and I loved the game. It was so much fun. It was just the way the controls were. I didn't enjoy playing the game as much as I wanted to, because I loved the premise. It was super appealing to me, and I just could not get into it because of those fucking controls.
So your DS too small for you.
Yeah. I need an actual controller, man.
I was rocking OG 3DS, hands like my wrists bumping, and I beat the single player story too. I was in the.
Oh yeah, that was back in the day when like the single player.
Yeah, single player and multiplayer were completely different.
Yeah,
and I hated it because I would rather just play co-op the entire thing.
I'm holding off because like I do want to talk about all the good Monster Hunter World did, like all the changes it made, but I'm trying to probably get more into the series itself.
Speaking of the series, Kareem, what was the first Monster Hunter game that you played?
It was the very first one, actually.
Really?
Yep.
You've been playing since the original?
Since the original.
Damn, okay.
2004.
See, I'd never heard of it until he picked up Monster Hunter World for you.
Yeah, same.
Because you found it at GameStop, and you're like, well, that sounds cool.
I think I had seen a YouTuber
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this looks interesting. And then I saw it at GameStop, and I'm like, huh. And it came out at the same time as Majora's Mask 3D.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get Majora's Mask. And then for some reason, I got a GameStop gift card from work. It was like a $20 GameStop gift card, and I was like, yeah, no, McDonald's actually gave me a GameStop gift card. I have no idea why.
Whose dick did you suck to get a GameStop gift card from McDonald's?
I'll tell you later.
Where
But like, I that's where I started pondering because I'm like, I could get $20 off Majora's Mask, and thought about it. I'm like, I will readily get Majora's Mask on my own.
Full price.
Full price.
Yeah.
No, this is the only chance I'm going to get this game
God, how good this
that I'm
is.
curious about, like discounting. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll try.
Wise choice.
No, I agree. Like I was almost a nah. But
What system was the first one for?
PlayStation 2.
What? We had a PlayStation 2.
It was actually
Damn
an
it.
obscure game. Obscure. That's the word. It's actually obscure.
It was until like Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
really.
I watched the Did You Know Gaming about it, and I think it was one of 2 or 3 games for PlayStation 2 made specifically with online in mind.
Oh.
That was one of the first online video games. Was Monster
Because
Hunter.
PlayStation 2, you had to have like a. I don't remember how you did online.
Basically
on that.
LAN.
You had to use LAN.
Yeah,
couldn't
it was
remember.
not. It was not a.
Oh, forgot to mention, Monster Hunter is made by Konami or Capcom. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Good God,
That's just wrong.
that is not correct. Capcom. I apologize.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Konami. Capcom's the good one.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Konami, you're great.
Mhm.
I don't remember what all you make, but I know you make good stuff.
They kind of messed up on Metal Gear. I'm just saying.
Oh, we're not getting. You know, we're getting into it. Okay, so the Hideo Kojima, the infamous crazy video game developer, who is a genius that needs to kind of have his own room. He's the guy that made Death Stranding.
He made PT.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Which it turned out to be Death Stranding, kind of. Anyways, yeah, he was in charge of the Metal Gear series, and then whatever.
Mhm.
I think halfway through Phantom Pain, they fired him.
Yeah.
And so it was, but they kept the title, and so fucking, they're like, all right, we can make Metal Gear, and make Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to make Metal Gear Minecraft.
It was more of a 7 Days to Die, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal. And it's like, if you're wondering how it pertains to Monster Hunter, you ever play Super Smash? There's a Rocko's in Monster Hunter. Show solid snake, so suck that. connections.
I have zero argument. Typically a hunt, I'm going to get back to this, consists, I know we already talked a little bit about the combat.
It's usually a 50-minute time limit.
50-minute time limit. There's, I'm also going in, especially in the 4U mechanics.
Right.
But it's, you kind of prep with items that either can buff you, can heal you, give you, because you'll have
different effects, different ailments. There we go.
You'll eat, which gives you more buffs, and then you head out to the field. You have health, obviously, stamina, and sharpness. Because the more you use your weapon, the more it'll get sharpened, and then you bring along...
Or dulled.
Yeah, dulled, thank you. You bring along whetstones to sharpen that.
Because the sharper your weapon is, the more damage you're doing, and the better critical chance, I think.
Yep. Higher, better.
I remember things! I just know how to play the game, man. I don't...
Then when going through there, you collect different stuff, either to make more items or to just temporarily help you, usually catching bugs with a bug net, mining with a pickaxe, and gathering mushrooms and herbs. Whenever you finally find a monster, which is
hit it with it
completely random. You just run around.
There's just different areas on the map.
Different areas on the map, but they have a set point to start, 12
to 15.
It depends on the map.
Yeah,
it can be anywhere from 3 to 14. You hit it with a paintball, so it would then stay on your map, and then go to town. Usually after a certain damage threshold or time threshold, it would then move areas, and you would have to track it. Once you're done, you can either kill them or capture them. When killing, you kill them. Where was I going with that? When killing them, you get 3 cards, and
you use the what you get from the cards to, like Kareem was saying earlier, to make weapons, armor. You use that to craft and upgrade your equipment, and then so that you can take on
higher stuff to get better gear. Yep. It's a very, very satisfying gameplay loop. And then capturing them is a little more complicated with traps and tranquilizer bombs. But you usually get a little bit better rewards.
A little bit better rewards, a little bit more rewards.
Higher chance for the more rare items.
Right. But it's more difficult because I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally killed the thing I was trying to capture and then want to throw my controller at the screen.
The frustration, memories.
Yes.
And it's like, with how much goes on in this game, and it doesn't teach you a lot. Especially for you, it's kind of you'll figure it out. And it still astounds me that I got into it by to this day.
You usually don't like games that just throw you in either. You're like, I need to know what I'm doing.
Exactly. I think the mission-based structure is the only thing that kept me in the early stages.
I get that.
Because very much like The Witcher, it did kind of the same thing, and then it's like, and now you can go anywhere. I'm like, too much.
That's why you had to restart The Witcher 3 times.
Like at least 3 times. I'm still not beating it.
No, such a big game.
But
also, we haven't touched on the most important thing about Monster Hunter yet.
You're right. If you play single player, it gives you a little bit of a. I'm letting you get into it. If you play single player, it gives you a little help because it's like, hey, these monsters are generally meant to be fought with multiple people. So
you get the cutest, most adorable sidekick ever. You get a cat that helps you fight, and it's amazing.
The little palico, it can give you buffs, it can heal you.
They are literally the cutest cats you have ever seen. So you think your cat is the cutest in the world? Fuck you, you're wrong. The palicos are the cutest. I will fight you on this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Palicos were only started in 4U, correct?
I think it was.
Or was it 3?
Was it 3? The concept started in 3, I believe, because you had a little guy, like Gajalaka.
Okay, like a little tribesman thing.
Yeah, tribe dudes. That's where we had a partner there. I think it started right there. And then you get the palicos, everywhere else, and everything. So, y'all wasn't speaking of the palicos and whatnot. Y'all weren't there for like the phalanx and the malinx, were y'all?
No.
To give you an idea, back in the day, there were felines and phalanx and malinx. The white was the phalanx, the black was the malinx.
Why does it seem like one's a girl and one's a boy?
No idea. But I know Normally, they're kind of like the Gajalakas and the other tribe dudes that you see up in the games nowadays. It's kind of chill. You don't mess with them, they don't mess with you, and they're okay. Except for the Malinks, the black ones, they would come and steal your shit.
They weren't for you. I repressed that.
That's why. Okay, I think.
I don't think I ever encountered them.
Yeah, they're very.
I did not get that far into.
It was pretty early in the game.
I don't think I got much farther than Rathian, honestly, in 4U. Because I remember getting the Rathian switch axe, and that's all.
You still probably came across them. I just probably told you, "Hey, don't fuck with them," and that was all you needed. So basically, because I remember specifically fighting the flying monkey elephant thing. I don't remember what it's called, but it had like giant ears that would flap over his head, almost like the and they had like little eye imprints on them to like
I think I have a vague memory of
but he would kind of fly around a lot like Tobi Kadachi. And I remember fighting because there was a vertical area.
Like a glide type.
Exactly.
I think you're talking about that. Like the Paluma. You talking about the elephant monkey? It's like orange.
Yeah.
That damn thing. Yeah. Didn't he shoot like snot?
Yeah, I don't think it was snot. I don't remember.
It looked like water. It looked like water.
I think he water blighted you.
Water blight? That's snot. I
ain't going.
Snot.
All I remember is fighting what was it? I'm off topic. No, I'm here now. It was the giant ape that farted on you. Conga. I hated that thing.
I remember that name. I don't remember fighting a monkey that farted.
You would have to bring a separate item called the deodorant.
Deodorant. Yeah.
Because it would fart on you and you couldn't use any items. It tainted your items. I hated that thing.
Anyway, back to the my Malinks or whatever.
Basically, because I do remember like seeing cats. I'm like, oh, cat, like mine, come here. And then he just like meow and hit me, and it's like it stole your first aid plus. And I'm like, you fucker, as it burrowed under the ground. So then anytime I saw it, I just powered up and started smashing them like, fuck off!
Oh, the nightmare doing the little.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, they were annoying, but it's like, I think I still mildly prefer them over the Gajalakas because I really hate I'm fighting, why am I paralyzed? And I just hear them cheering in the background. Like little assholes.
I think.
And then now.
My bad. All the little tribes, especially in the world, particularly in the world, I like them a lot because of when you befriend them and whatnot, and you knock down a monster, they just light their ass up with all these fire.
I've never actually gotten to be able to befriend it, so that's really fucking cool.
Either.
Yeah, when you knock them down, it's just a shit ton of fireballs just hitting this damn monster.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. I love doing that.
Fair enough.
Now, coming up this year, actually, Monster Hunter Rise is coming out. And not only are you getting a Palico, you're also getting a rideable dog.
That I'm actually really excited about.
I've ridden it a little bit in the demo. It was actually really fun. I was like, good boy!
Palamutes, right?
Palamutes, I believe.
Yeah, because I think it's playing off mutts.
Palamutes or Palamutes. Whatever.
But, because the main thing that they were focusing on in, the reveal trailer was basically your little zip cord thing, almost like a grappling hook, and I'm like, we kind of already have that.
Yeah, we have the clutch claw.
There's something very similar in World, so I understand you're going for a lot of verticality and a lot of freedom of movement, but I kind of don't care. And it's like, and the dog, and it's like, take my money. I actually am really glad the way they implemented it. Because if it was just, it's a Palico, but a dog, I'm like, all right, out. I don't need that.
I like how it's actually.
It has different functions.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that.
Did y'all know that, unlike World and everything else, you can actually, even with 4 players, you can bring one or the other.
I had heard that.
I did not know that.
I am so excited about that.
That's awesome.
It's also what helps sell me on that.
Oh yeah,
because
I can't wait for Rise to come out.
Generally in Monster Hunter games, if you have up to 2 people, each of you gets to bring along your Palico, so you still have a little bit of help.
If you have more than 2, though, you can't have more than 4 hunters out at once in the game, and your Palicos count as that. So if you have 3 players playing together, you don't get your Palicos.
Right. And so it is but that is back to what I was saying, initially about playing alone. It's like the difference between I'm playing with one other person and our palette goes, this is great, to having a full party, the power scale is immense because it's just like I am a god now. Nothing can stand in my way.
There is some scaling that the game does with monsters, but it's mostly just health.
It's generally just health.
So yeah, it just has more health with more players. That's really the only difference. It's not like much stronger or anything. It's just more fun to play with more people.
You know, to touch on that, they how they changed the thing, like since the first one up until World is when they actually changed it. But besides World, all the other ones was single player was the easier monster because you by yourself.
Yeah.
But the scaling for like if you went by yourself and went to the online hub and did it by yourself, you'll be fighting a monster that's meant for 4 people.
Right. There's no the scaling is. Are you playing the single player one? Cool. You're playing single player. Are you playing a multiplayer one? Hope you have 4 people. It's the same difficulty anyway.
Yeah. It's like yes. So imagine I didn't get to play online until Freedom Unite on the PSP. So, but
I heard that one was hard as hell.
It's probably one of my favorites. Right after World, those 2 are my favorites. But the most hardest one was the first one, and Fatalis was just he was a bitch and a half.
Fatalis just came to World, didn't he?
He was the original. Yeah, no, you're right. No, I thought you were saying he just came like out, but yes,
no.
He did just come to World. If the first one was the hardest, this motherfucker was a close second. He was right there. And I love that fight. I might have played like shit.
I was about to say we ought to play this tonight. Now that we're talking about it, do we want to? I was just saying I have 2 ways we can go with this conversation. We can start talking about what our favorite monsters are and talk about that a little bit, or we can talk about some of the changes that World made that we really like.
I want to get into World.
Okay, cool.
Because, like I said, a lot of Monster Hunter was enjoyment in the tedium. Everything was a little bit tedious and a little bit annoying, and it's like you kind of, it just made you feel better.
But it's rewarding, and
exactly.
It felt worth it. It didn't feel like a waste of time.
And then World's like, all right, Monster Hunter was a pretty niche series. It was like, if you like it, you like it. If not, you've probably never heard of it.
Right.
And then so World was the first. I think it was the first platform one since 3U. Because 3 was technically on the Wii U.
Yeah, since then they were all on handheld for a long time.
Which was, as Andrew was saying, one of its biggest downtracks because
it was still fun as hell. I just couldn't play it on that controls.
The controls are very complicated. You need
especially
a lot
for
of
such
buttons.
a small handheld thing.
You need a lot of buttons, and so you don't get those buttons. You can't get as many buttons on a handheld. And especially because the processing power is garbage. Handheld, like 3DS is a great system.
It had some really fun stuff on it, but it does not. It doesn't support it all that well.
It does not. And so this is the first big AAA platform Monster Hunter, and they went all out.
Oh my
God! Graphics
they
were overhauled.
They were gorgeous.
For the first time in at least 3 or 4 games, it was not just reusing and updating old models.
I want to put it in perspective real quick. You can get on Monster Hunter World on whatever console or PC that you're playing it on, and you can look at the trees and you can pick out individual leaves. That's how amazing the graphics were.
This is, of course, after the 10-minute loading time.
Yeah, yes.
They just gave it an upgrade too for the current gen.
Oh yeah, for the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
It's stupid pretty.
I bet.
Another funny thing about World, it really brought, or what I'm happy about, it really brought Monster Hunter to the mainstream.
It absolutely did, because we play with Angela and Larry a lot.
Josh will join us every now and then. And we even play with Kareem sometimes when he's not too busy being a god.
They gave the right sacrifices.
We sacrificed the right monsters to him.
Most of our friends, I would have never invited to play if it wasn't for World.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it is a tedious game that I'm like, I'm not going to put people through this. Andrew's getting through it because I even showed him some gameplay, and he was like, oh, this looks interesting.
I don't know if I would have picked it back up again if not for World.
Yeah, you watched me playing World and you're like, shit, I want to play.
Yeah, I was like, shit, you're pulling me back in.
Because Whetstones you used to have to bring in manually.
Yes.
They are unlimited now. Pickaxes and bug nets gone. They're just
pickaxes are there. Well, you don't have to craft them. You can still
Yeah.
They
don't break.
Yeah.
So they're there, but they're not there.
They did a lot to streamline the playing experience, the gameplay.
It's quality of life.
Quality of life is the name of the game.
I would say this, coming from playing all of them, I don't miss a goddamn thing.
I was actually going to ask about that because I know there were a lot of people that were purists for the original Monster Hunter formula and got upset when they changed it. Because you're right. But I love that they took out the loading screens between the different areas on the map.
Right.
That was one of my favorite things because I hated that.
You know, it had another prong attack. Damn, my bad. But it had another thing to that. The takeaway is the loading screen to make it faster. It made it feel like a living, breathing ecosystem.
It felt like a world and not
you were
separate arenas in a kind of overarching area.
Yeah, no, it felt like an actual, like we were actually in this forest, going up through these trees, swinging on these vines, going through these like rivers and stuff. It felt like you were actually there.
How the marsh connects to the desert is phenomenal.
Exactly. Instead of, like you said, feeling like several different arenas, it felt like the Hunger Games, but it was split into different sections. You had to you would find your way through one section of the arena into another section. You had to go through a tunnel to get there or whatever. It's what it felt like, or an elevator or whatever. Instead, it was all you're just there and you go throughout the entire thing.
A big thing with that is there's no break in the action.
There's no break, because that was one of my... The monster will still run away to different areas, generally locked. It's okay, it is still in this area that it will run to. But I could not tell you how many times in 4U I was fighting a monster right next to the border of the area where the monster could stay a little bit past the point. And so I would run up to hit it and run into the next area. And I couldn't do anything.
What about getting tail whip or hip check?
I hated that!
Yeah.
Oh, that was the most frustrating thing.
Scout flies.
I was gonna get because the paintballs are gone.
Thank God.
I didn't hate the paintballs.
I didn't hate the paintballs. I hate that they wore off.
Yeah, that was also very annoying.
I tried the damn thing. Fuck.
But because instead of just guessing areas or memorizing where every monster starts, you'll find tracks. You pick it up and you have these little firefly-looking things that track the scent. And so they'll lead you to the next footprint, and then to the next. And after a while, it just takes you on the monster's trail. And then it'll take you straight to it. And then once you research and you gather enough footprints and stuff, it just shows up on the map. So it does away with all of that, makes it way more fun to find it. And also they did a great job teasing and terrifying whenever you're like, yeah, let's go in. I'm going after this monster. And then you just find a monster, a giant footprint that just has question marks. I'm like, what is this? Am I scared? Because I am. Should I be scared? Is what I would say.
It was crazy.
Am I scared? Because I am.
I gotta say, when I first picked up World, and I never thought this word would come while I was playing it, it's immersion. It's because, it's Monster Hunter, come on.
You're fighting giant monsters with swords, you're gonna be so immersed.
Well, it's but when I was sitting there and I was listening, I had my great headphones on, and I was just sitting there listening to the birds and the trees and all that bullshit.
Because it's gorgeous.
Yes. And I was, and when I was watching or finding the tracks to see where it went, I actually felt like I was tracking something down and hunting it.
It's especially just crouching and just going through some of the there was one time I was fighting a Anjanath, a giant T-Rex with some randos online. I was running. There was a guy behind me. We were fighting something else. And
you told me about this.
I see this Anjanath giant T-Rex who aggroes on sight. Fire. He started heading that way. I skidded to a halt, ran back, and dove in some bushes, to which I see the guy right behind me run past me, and then just dive right next to me. It was we just both hid this was early game. We can't handle this. We can't handle it.
That happened when I started playing with you too at one point, because you were helping me get through and catching up to where you were, because I started after you, because you had an Xbox before I did. Now we have PlayStations. Regardless, I remember playing and I'm running along and I just hear you go, come flying past me. And I'm like, what? See the T-Rex? Oh no! Start running away.
Some of the moments between us are my favorite part, because also, I think I forget to mention this, there is not a point where this is not multiplayer. Yeah. Everybody, if you want the 4 people in, from the beginning of the hunt. It's cool. It's not you have to track it down and then boom, then the people get to join.
Yeah, every now and then you have to find the monster, get a cutscene out of the way, and then you can still leave the hunt immediately and then start again
That is my biggest flaw with the game.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad it's such a small part though.
It's super tiny. It's like whatever.
Well, I was going to say what really makes up for that, man, is the fact that people can join your quest.
Yes.
That's a godsend.
Yeah, because
you can also
the fact that it's like, hey, just put. I don't care whose hunter I'm seeing in the cutscene. Let me just go.
Yeah.
I get that. Whatever. In the old games, everybody had to do the important quests. So the ones to get you to the next star rank or the next difficulty or whatever.
You had to complete
do that.
the story.
If you had a 4-person team, you had to do that mission 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
The leader had to be in that one. It was so annoying.
I forgot about that.
Also, there's 5 different elements that your weapons can be: fire, thunder, ice, water, and dragon.
I forgot about dragon. I was like 5. I can only think of 4. There's only 4 nations in Avatar.
And all monsters have certain weaknesses and resistances to all of them. Yeah. Whether it's very weak or mildly weak. I'm not getting into ailments yet.
No, I was just saying there's also different ailments that switched up too.
Well,
That's really awesome.
The ailments they do mention that they do there's resistance to
poison
and all that.
Yeah, I know that, but I was just getting mainly into elements
because it's the same.
We doing 2 separate with geek.
All right, fair enough. But it never told you that in game. It would never tell you that in game. The only way you come close to knowing is by looking at the armor. You look at the armor and see what it was good against. So after you've already beaten it, it's like, okay, now I know I should probably try this. Probably. It's not even a guarantee.
That's another thing that World Health.
That's what I was going for.
I realized that. I just wanted to help segue into it. The Hunter's Notes is such a godsend because previously you either had to look at the armor or look it up on Google.
The wikis are insane.
You had to research this shit to find out what everything was weak to. Where now in the Hunter's Notes on Monster Hunter World, you can go to that whenever you have enough research. It tells you what they're weak to. It has the entire list of all the elements and ailments, and it shows with stars. It'll be 1, 2, or 3, or there's a red X, which means it doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
And that's how you know how effective each element is, how effective everything is like that. It's such a godsend. It is so helpful.
Also, I really like that. Like certain,
Thank you, Capcom.
Thank you, Capcom.
It took 20 years.
Right.
Okay. In 4U, I was trying to get some dual blades from the main poster monster Gormagala.
Right.
And I needed 2 parts. It's feelers.
Fuck the desire sensors, man.
No, it wasn't even that. I fought this thing over 20 times and didn't get a single one. And I'm like, what is going on? I had to Google, when it's enraged, it has the 2 little horns pop up.
You have to break
those. You have to break its face while it's enraged.
Oh.
I had no way of knowing that outside the wiki.
Right.
And with enough research in the Hunter's Manual, it tells you how and what part you have to break to get those rewards, how likely they are, and different stuff like that. And that is going to be the only thing that'll kill Rise for me, is if it doesn't have the Hunter's Manual.
Yeah. Because it's like, no worries there, man. I'm telling you, they took a lot from World.
Good, because most of that I could go back to. I played a little bit of a Generations Ultimate demo after World, and it's like, this is kind of nice, go back through the loading screens, whatever. I got to remember to bring whetstones, different stuff like that. I don't want to look up a wiki every time I need to know what this thing's weak to.
If they don't have Hunter's Notes, well, I guess I'm flying to Japan and slap some people.
Somebody's getting a bitch slapped.
We haven't even talked about the weapons yet.
We're just now 30 minutes in, so we got time.
I think it's
13. 13?
Something like that. We go through them and count them right now.
Let's see.
Sword and shield.
Great sword.
Great sword. Long sword. Bow. Light bow gun. Heavy bow gun, because those were forefront in my mind. Insect glaive. Switch axe, thank you.
Charge
blade.
Dual blades.
Gun lance. And hammer. Hunting horn. 14.
And each of them have a completely different playstyle.
I want to say there's one more.
I think that's it.
No,
that's probably it.
It's a weird number, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 15. I'm missing one.
Yeah.
Well, in the entirety of the universe of
Tonfas? Yes.
There's Tonfas?
I think it was Monster Hunter Online?
Frontier,
okay.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
they used to have Tonfas. They took them out. I don't know why.
It was only for Frontier, and it was only for, like, I think, Japanese and Chinese regions.
Huh.
But I played them anyway because I made one of those accounts. And it's an amazing game. And they're taking a lot of moves from that. And it seems like they took moves from that and put them in the Rise.
Okay.
Like the meteor impact from the hammer when they do the wire bug, you go blah, blah, blah. It's like a move in with the hammer in Frontier. So
okay.
That would be pretty good. I'm just hoping they need to add a goddamn time for some DLC. I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome.
I do want them to add another weapon because like they added 2 in 4U, correct? 4. I think Charge Blade and Insect Glaive.
Yeah, I think 4. Yeah, I think 4.
And so it's been a minute since they've added another one. It's like I'd like another one. Yeah. I'm not really like. At the same time, there's so fucking many that it's like, hey, if you don't, I'm cool with it.
It's like, yeah, they don't cool with it. It's like what y'all do in the world. Hey, I'm savvy for a good while.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your main weapon? What's your main go-to?
That's a hard one for me because generally, I think it still is dual blades. I picked it up and it starts you off with a sword and shield, and I'm like, this isn't terrible, but it does like no damage. And then I'm like, ooh, great sword. And then I'm like, oh, I hate this. This is so slow. And I did not like much of the weapons until I picked up the dual blades and was able to just Naruto around. That I really started enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And then I switched to sword and shield in our most recent playthrough because we already had like 1, if not 2 or 3 people using dual blades. And I was already going to support builds, and sword and shield worked for that. And I'm really going to love that too.
I guess I should have asked more of what are some of your favorite weapons instead of main weapons. Because Monster Hunter is one of those where most people will have multiple weapons that they play. So
it's hard for me to say even favorite weapons, just because I respect the hell out of all of them, except guns.
My first weapon was the switch axe. I started playing that on 4U and then quit playing because those controls. Then picked up Monster Hunter World and immediately went to switch axe again because I was like, I kind of know this. We're going to have some fun here. And it's not that I'm bad with the switch axe. I was bad at dodging at the time, and I kept dying a lot, so I ended up switching to the bow for a while, which super fun, and I got good at. And because you do a lot of ailments, you can paralyze and poison and all that kind of stuff. And that's actually really fun and rewarding when you get that.
And even outside of that, it's just constant damage of I just got to stay away from him while my teammates pull the aggro.
And being a little bit farther away, you can see when he's telegraphing his moves a little bit better. You can anticipate things a little bit better. And I got better at dodging, and now I can learn to look for things when I'm up close.
Right.
But and then I ended up going back to switch axe. I actually started using greatsword a little bit at one point though, because that one I actually found fun, even though I hated it at first because it was so slow. But then I started using the switch axe, and then I got to where I don't mind the slow as much, which is very unlike me usually. But I actually really enjoyed the greatsword, and I've used the hammer a little bit too.
I have also used the hammer a few times. That's
that was fun.
I'll say I want to touch on the switch axe.
Yes.
There was a good reason why you were dying a lot because it had an abysmal dodge range. It was a low tier weapon, and they did
on 4U.
No, on World. On World, and they actually buffed it up with the Iceborne, so it was a lot.
That explains a lot, actually.
It does.
Because it's in addition to the charge blade, I would say if there was a weapon that encompassed the word hype, it is definitely switch axe and charge blade.
Oh yeah. Those are so much fun. I love the switch axe so much.
Well, my favorite weapons, actually, for the last, what was it? That came out in 2017 World did, right?
18.
Yeah, the beginning of 18.
It was beginning of 18 because we were in the apartment.
Yep.
Right, so for 14 years, I only used 2 weapons in Monster Hunter, and that was the hammer and the heavy bowgun. And I always used that was it, a pierce, straight hammer until I got in game, and then I started doing heavy bowgun. It was just because I like heavy impacting weapons.
And it's a very good heavy impact that doesn't move too slow.
It's
sometimes
satisfying.
It is so satisfying.
The knockouts.
When I figured out
the heavy bowgun, just feeling like the power of it, and then I was like, oh snap, you can crack shot people. It's sticky nowadays. I think it's called.
Yeah.
It used to be called crack shot back in the day. So it like sticks in the guy.
Basically, it's sticky ammo. It sticks in them, and they don't feel it for a second, and then after about 2 or 3 seconds, it explodes.
Yes.
Very satisfying.
I've never used a heavy bowgun, so
it was just amazing. I'm so glad because I stuck with Hammer because I didn't like the first person perspective in all the other games when it came to the bowguns and whatnot.
I didn't know it was first person.
They did that.
Yeah, it's just first person, but then they added this damn in world they added third person perspective. Amazing. But they also flipped the script again for people that still like that. They added the I forgot, it's like a zoom lens for like the heavy bowgun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
The bowgun modifications.
And it's like a hypercritical range. You can dish out some hella damage with that damn thing. I'm not gonna lie, but I just hate that perspective. So those I definitely say those are mine. But World is when I actually started branching out to other weapons, and so there's not actually all the weapons I know. I think I know how to use every weapon pretty good, man. That's the first
I'd say I've watched you kick ass with like every weapon on that game, and I'm like, how does he do it? I can barely use the 2 I have.
The one that surprised me the most, I had so much fun, was the insect stab.
The insect glaive is super cool.
Was my backdoor main in for you.
That's Angela's main on World, and it's so funny. You just fly through the air.
Yeah, but it used to not actually have that much aerial stuff in for you when it first got introduced. It just had to recall your insect back. You did a little bolt, and that was the first one that mount sort of thing was in for you.
Yeah.
And so I ended up after playing. I had tested it out in a training ground a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's fast enough. I can do this, and the damage was there. So I actually got pretty good at it, and just being able to be my own ledge to get a good hit in. I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I got a small story for y'all. So, fun fact: the first weapon I beat Fatalis with was a insect staff. Actually, I had just picked it up.
For context, real quick, Fatalis is the end boss from the original.
Yes.
I think
Monster
you missed that earlier.
I couldn't. I think we started to, and then got distracted doing something else. If not, if we did, cool. If not, I wanted to make sure it did get said.
Recap, yeah. Which I think is very poetic to have like the first end boss from the first game be the last boss of such a pivotal entry in the series. I think
What I will call the best game.
It's like, oh yeah, that's my favorite. Is World? I don't see how they can beat even Rise. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's good. That's the one thing I'm like. I think it's gonna be good. I can't wait for it. It's not gonna be World.
It's not gonna be
World.
They went so hard on World, man. So good.
I'm so glad they did. They really gave gamers hope.
Mm-hmm.
But I was Fatalis. I beat him with the insect stuff, and I just remember, and I was just learning how to kind of work it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment where he does this flame sweep attack, and I didn't have enough time to put up my weapon, and so I'm sweating. I'm like shit, and everybody's just like I can see it in their characters' price how they react. And I was like, what to do? I was like, then I did the damn vault, and I jumped and dove over the damn thing.
That's so cool.
That leads perfectly into another thing I wanted to talk about. What are some of our favorite moments that we've had in Monster Hunter?
So
I can go ahead and tell you one of mine right now. I remember, I think it was an Anjanath we were fighting. It's not much of a story. I just remember we were fighting it, and every now and then you can topple a monster where they're laid down for a second and they can't get up, and you can do tons of damage really quick. I remember, I'm sure I was playing with you, and I don't remember who else. But I had my switch axe at the moment, and the Anjanath came charging at me, and I happened to do a down slash with it and knocked it down as it charged me, and it was such a great feeling. I have a better one next, but I'll let somebody else tell one now.
So I'm actually going to go with the first time we beat Nerd.
That was my next one. Because we worked for
It
hours.
wasn't even hours, it was months. We had been, like, we were also working a lot. So
Actually, that particular day we'd been working for hours.
But we just could not beat. Nergigante's the kind of almost, I'd call it mid-boss.
He was the flagship for World.
Yeah, at the very least the flagship. But he,
the Elder Dragon that eats other Elder Dragons.
He was so hard, and we were trying everything, and we could not beat him. We ended up, part of it was under armored, part of it was we were using switch axe.
I was using switch axe, and it was not great at the time, and I couldn't dodge to save my life.
But we fought so hard on that, and then one day it was like we both had off, And we're like, all right.
I was actually supposed to go to Dothan with a friend that day,
Yeah.
and it ended up not happening because we were trying to beat Nergigante for so fucking long.
It literally, I think it took us a solid 10 hours.
Something like that. We were doing it for so
time
long.
After time. We got him in his last phase so many times. It was so brutal.
That dive bomb attack is brutal.
We learned him better than any other monster, and it was This is also before I started using my support build fully. I had a little bit of wide range, so I was able to do a little bit of heals, but not a ton. But the time the victory theme went off and we saw him fall, we screamed.
Went nuts. We lived in an apartment, by the way. There was a downstairs neighbor and neighbors all around us, and we felt really bad for screaming. But the pure adrenaline and ecstasy that I felt after finally beating that motherfucker.
Because that wasn't the first time we'd had trouble. The first time I think it was he was either low or high
Diablos.
Diablos.
It was low rank.
I was just going to say,
because that's where you stopped, because you knew after that
I had beaten that.
Or you had with online.
I SOS players, so just
because
randomly
you had been pulling me up, and it was just the two of us, and so we were fighting Diablos, and you hadn't beaten him, and you powered me through everything too. So I did not have great armor.
Your reflexes weren't sharp enough yet.
No, because you were just like, all right, hurry up!
I'm like, it's all about to be useless anyways. I say having my perfect armor, but it was that Diablos gave us a time and a half.
But
and
it was nothing compared to
Nergigante.
Yeah, touching what y'all felt from the Nergigante fight. Like in contrast with what y'all were saying earlier, with like my joys is when I struggle super hard on the monster and just that triumphant feel.
Oh yeah,
that whatnot.
When you've worked for so long to finally beat a monster and you finally do it, it is the best feeling.
Like yes. For my best moment though, there's a monster called Safi Jiva. It's another monster.
Yeah, we haven't fought that one yet.
Xeno Jiva is the in-game boss or the main story of Monster Hunter World base, and Safi Jiva is the adult form for all you like to know.
I wasn't aware of that yet.
Xeno Jiva.
Oh, you've told me about that.
Literally just hatches when
you watch it. You watch it. Spoilers. Watch it hatch in the cutscene.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But no, there was a time where I had got knocked the hell out, and then I tried to lay on the ground so you can delay getting up. So, but by the time I was forced to get up, and it was doing this move where it looks at you and it charges up this beam, and I was like, "Damn, I'm gonna die!" And it was our last
charges up its command.
It was like,
you'd already gotten two faints.
Yeah, it was like,
two
faints, and it was our last one. But my brother Johnny, he was using the gun lance. So what he did was he ran. And he got in front of me right at the last minute and pulled the shield out.
Oh!
And he was blocking the full beam while I was pushing him back. Like, it was amazing.
That's amazing.
Like, the same thing happened actually with Fatales, because if someone blocks, he does this. And it's a surprise. I don't want to let y'all see that. But he does an attack where if you block, it'll have a safe area behind him. He saved me again. This one,
Johnny coming in clutch.
This was amazing because I was dizzy. And I just see him charging with the regular lance.
Oh, so where you could not move at all, it's just like, I'm fucked.
He got there and he did a slide, like, cause if you charge and you press the block button, it'll do the slide, so he kind of slid with it, and it was a blocking it for me.
That's so, I had a few moments like that myself, whenever, like, I'm using sword and shield, I don't have a ton of stuff, but I'll get, like, knocked back or something, and I'll see them charging up, and I come out of an animation just in time to put up my shield as it hits me, so I slide back a little bit, taking next to no damage. It's the most satisfying thing to barely block an attack. And also to like hit a monster, draw aggro, or mount them as somebody's about to get their shit wrecked is so satisfying.
Oh yeah, or even using like something that knocks them out of their animation, like Crystal Burst. Or
oh my god, Crystal Burst! That saved our ass in Nergigante.
There have been several times where one of us has saved the other with Crystal Burst because he's like, and we're like, oh thank God, running away.
Yeah, that's
my visual media that no one can see.
There was something new with World that they started doing. It's unofficial, but it's supernova, super moves that they do.
Yeah.
I mean that I've been saying so many times about Crystal Burst, like that, especially with Teostra's bitch ass.
Teostra's fucking supernova is insane.
Lunostra's is even worse.
Oh my god.
Well, the worst thing about Lunastra was that you couldn't use a flash pod. You could not use the flash pod, otherwise it's like, all right, fuck you. Whereas Teostra is allergic to him. He just like, no.
The Cushladora is.
Yes.
Which actually you were about to say something. Sorry.
Shit, it was actually about Kushala. I almost forgot. I didn't think I was shit. I was saying, I was just going to, it's small. I was going to say, funny enough, I used some of the worst armor in the game to beat Lunastra, which was the Kushala Deora armor.
Oh, God.
It gives you wind resistance, so you don't get pushed by her hot wind, that bullshit, so you can just run away when she's doing her bullshit. So, but Kushala Deora, my favorite monster, or one of my favorites, I definitely say, he was my very first favorite. He gave me it was a heavy bowgun that looked like a gigantic revolver.
Oh, cool.
He's I hate how he is in World, because that's too, it's awesome, don't get me wrong, but fighting it is very annoying. But Kushala, he's definitely one of my favorite boys.
Okay. Us beating him the first time was actually one of my favorite moments as well. Because, like, while the fight itself was meh, how it happened.
Oh, that was the first time we played like with a full four person
Exactly.
squad.
We had
with a
fought
couple guys from
Cushladora
work.
once before this, and we just lost because we ran out of time because we couldn't hit him.
Yeah.
He just kept doing too many tornadoes, and we're like, I'm like, this just isn't fun. I'm just gonna wait and grind up better armor and stuff. And then we met some friends.
Some guys from when I worked at Jimmy John's. My manager and another guy on morning shift. Started talking to them, and I found out that they played. The manager had played for several games. He'd been playing for years, older games, and then the other guy just started on Monster Hunter World. But I found out they played. I was like, dude, I play with my brother. Y'all should come play.
Yeah, because he gave me advice like, the Cushladora is just allergic to flash pods.
Yeah, he's like, just use flash pods, and he doesn't stand a chance. And I was like, okay. And we still never
ended up trying, and then they're like, hey, we're getting on. You guys want to join?
Yeah.
And we joined. That's the first time we had a
first time either of us had ever played with like four friends.
Four people I was voice chatting with.
Yeah.
And it was and that was after I had started using my support build. So it was just everybody kind of went ham, and then I would go nuts and then hang in the back healing. So the second somebody gets hit, it's like, boom, you up, let's go. That was the best feeling ever of I can keep them up, and they don't have to worry. They just get to keep fighting.
That was the first time I'd ever seen somebody use a insect glaive, actually.
Yeah, I forgot to use that.
Because I was like, why does he keep flying through the air?
Kushla didn't stand a chance.
No.
It was down in a minute.
It was so great.
That was just like, is this what power feels like?
So after that, we were like, hey, Larry and Angela, we have PlayStations now. Y'all come play with us, please? We like 4 players.
Entire game over
just to play with 4 people.
I don't regret it at all.
Let's see, my very first 4-play experience was actually in high school, during school.
Oh,
during school?
Yes, because it was on the PSP.
Right.
And it didn't have online. So I had convinced these other guys. Actually, I had bought 3 PSPs and the game Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Bought it. Gave one to my brother Johnny, and I just the other one was a loaner for people to play with us. Sooner or later, convinced the people to actually get some of themselves. And me and these 4 guys every morning before school, we're in the cafeteria, just playing Monster Hunter.
That's amazing.
So cool.
That's what we are, just grinding. Now, me and John are pretty good, and those 2 kind of suck.
You're always carrying at least one person.
It's like, these 2 were they were bad, but it didn't matter. I was having a blast.
Oh yeah.
That's all there is. Like, you can be terrible. But if you're drawing aggro, you're doing great, man.
Like it's hard to describe just how much fun, like just the feeling of joy you can get from this game, because
it's something like The Witcher or Dark Souls, where it's like that kind of combat, but you've got 4 other people joining in with you, either in the immense fun or the absolute bullshit.
The community is amazing.
The community is so good. Yeah. Like we did talk about how a lot of the purists were like getting a little upset about Worlds.
They changed mechanics.
Yeah, they made it too easy, quote unquote.
Well,
That was a small minority. Everybody is so fun to play with. They're so accepting. I have gone into fights where I am not prepared. I'm gonna just play. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm not prepared. I'm like, I'm gonna hold you back, and they're literally they're on me like ready to help. That's the only reason I have my Witcher swords. Is because the ancient lesson. I thought that a few times. I'm like, it's bullshit. I can't do this. And then went online, and they're like, "Got you!" And we're just doing it. And I started Because I always
started doing your support.
I started doing my support stuff, and I always feel bad when I do that because I'm like, I'm gonna be holding you back. And these are some of the only people that ever like went out of their way to go, thanks, and they kept going.
And you're like, ah! But yeah, like there are so many people that, like you were saying, have no problem giving you tips and like would be like, yo, I got you, I'll help you out, with this or whatever. Because there are so many people that literally just look for people playing online and will just join quests just to help people out.
I have seen so many people in-game stats level gear that join in some of the earliest missions just to boom, you got this.
I like doing that a lot.
It's fun.
I can't tell you how many times he has helped because we've been struggling with this.
Yeah.
We will have fought something 5 or 6 times in a row and not done well. Kareem jumps in, and then we finish it, no problem. We're like, well, shit, all right.
Oh, is that all we needed?
But like, yeah, we were talking about how people can get toxic with, and every community, every fandom has toxic people. That's inescapable. That's just going to happen. But like, other than that, the Monster Hunter community is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
they really are.
Man, about the Monster Hunter community. It's there's 2 things that actually happened that I was just amazed at. One, toxic people, they got drove out almost instantaneously. I haven't run into anybody toxic whatsoever. Like, the only people that was trolling people that I've ever seen was me and Johnny.
Yeah, it's people making fun of you for your weapon main, and it's out of a good spirit.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I didn't realize you played this weapon. Oh, I didn't realize you were trash.
Yeah, it's people just in a joking, loving way shitting on you, roasting you, just because we like to have fun.
Exactly.
But what was it? And like when the troll, like, y'all seen it when you do your healing and says, "I didn't ask for that, but thanks."
Yeah.
That's the most. And Johnny's thing says, "He's like, man, you need to go back to low rank." But and I used to see things like that a lot as jokes. But then there was I seen one video by a guy named Eric's Games.
I think I heard of him.
Yeah, the bald guy with the red beard. I love this dude. He's amazing. And Gaijin Hunter. They did something about, hey, you should probably change stuff like that to say, hey, don't worry about it. And it's like, or something like, hey, it's like, don't worry, we need you. Get back in the fight. Stuff like that. And it says it really changes the mood.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, it really, like, I didn't see any of that. Like, I just see it all over the place. People, like, faint and stuff like that all the time. It just changed. And the other thing was, like I said, with the toxic people, they got booted out of the community pretty damn hard. Or they got shunned into hiding or something. Because, and these spirits that say all this stuff like this, these changes, it's like, all right, y'all need to chill out because we want more people playing this game.
It was a step in the right direction, for sure.
This is a fun game that we're trying to have fun with.
We're just trying to spread it and get more recognition and let other people who might not have ever otherwise heard of it enjoy this game.
They did it right. They made the veterans happy and newcomers happy.
I should remember how stoked you got, Adam, when you saw that there was a Monster Hunter coming to the Xbox. You were like, ah!
I was so ready.
And I was like, I
had people being like, no, it's an open world Monster Hunter. I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is.
Like, no, it's not.
He's like, oh, that's nothing.
I just remember being skeptical because I had such a bad time with everything on the 3DS.
Skeptical.
Because of my experience on the 3DS.
I experienced it all. Do not speak to me about
That's fair.
I was there when they were written.
But it pulled me in, it hooked me so quickly and so easily once it came out too, and I was just I'm done. Like, you got me.
I felt spoiled. I felt so spoiled.
Exactly. Like, I don't have to worry about this. I can just do this, girl.
Then there was a time I can't remember who this bastard was, but he was talking about, man, they should just do more free DLC. You know, they have given us tons of free DLC. I don't mind paying them. I'll pay another $60 goddamn dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially once you heard Snoker.
I haven't even gotten into Iceborne yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking like the expansion, the amount it gave us is insane.
It was basically another game that they put on top of this one. It was incredible.
It's like a whole new rank. So and I did like the immediate jump because at first I was turned off by like your armor had about probably I think it was like 50 to 60 points of armor at the end of high rank.
Yeah,
and then master rank jumped to like 100.
It was like, oh.
Yeah, it jumped quite a bit.
It jumped so much that it's like, hey,
we were like, damn.
You may have had this really, really good armor. I don't mean shit now. Everybody's starting from the beginning.
And that's just like each individual armor piece had like a rank of like 50, 60, something like that. And then it shot way up. And we're like,
So it essentially doubled what you had to have.
Yeah.
And
And it was intimidating.
I was just super happy because y'all remember G-Rank, right?
I never got the G rank. No,
that's high. So it's been like that every time.
It's the one above high rank, or
Yes.
yeah, I think there's another name for it.
No, it's all.
Oh, it's G-rank?
Okay. They chose, and this one was Master Rank, but they just said they chose Master Rank because it sounds cooler. And I was
Fair.
like, all right, whatever.
That's fair.
It's
But,
easier concept to understand for newer covers.
But like for me, it was because when I played these Monster Hunter games, I beat them the hell and back, and when it's like knowing there's like something else, like new monsters, and the monsters had new moves and stuff like that. It's amazing. But this one, it was to put it behind a paywall. The Master Rank I thought it was a little odd, but it was okay because like you said, it was another game. You get new moves, a whole new mechanic with the clutch.
New story. It put more story in there for you. More monsters came out. Like all kind of shit.
Man, we didn't even touch the lore. I got plenty of that.
Oh yeah, no, like he knows way more about the lore than I think we will ever know.
Actually, there's a guy. I think it's Extra Life is what he is. I used to like back in the day. I used to send him stuff about what I found out and everything like that because I was.
I think I've read that website. Yeah.
It has all this lore and stuff like that. I would send him like what I would be reading because I ain't got shit else to do. The lore. How much do y'all know about the lore?
I actually know very little. I know certain.
I know
things.
less than you.
Yeah, I do know certain things. Like the Rotten Veil was made out of one of the Elder Dragon's corpse. That I know the Rajan eat Kieran horns. I know that the reason an ogre has electricity is it has thunderbugs on it.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't know much.
I know the Rathian and Rathalos, and just different things like that. But
I also know the Black Diablos is a female Diablos.
Yep.
The stuff I have found out was it goes like to like what you're saying, like the female Diablos is like ecology up to mythic proportions when it comes to like Fatalis. And definitely one, like, I don't know how much time we got left, but
we're at just over an hour. We can keep going to an hour and a half if we want. We're good. We've gone to 2 hours before, man. We're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Talk as long as you want to talk, man.
The lore stuff, this is y'all gonna see me start geeking out pretty hard.
Do it.
There's like, I got theories and all this other crap. So, I'll switch y'all with like back in the day and actually end it with Fatalis. There's an interesting connection I got there. But in my very first time getting to it was when I was looking at stuff for Rathalos. It said, the Sky King, and Rathian, the Earth Queen. I don't know, that's pretty cool stuff. So they had their stuff, but move a little forward to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and there would be little descriptions here and there. And I did a mission, and it was called the Demon King, and it was a Diablos, and it was a particularly hard Diablos with missing one horn, and so that's what I coined it to. I don't know if y'all heard me ever say it, but I say Diablos the Demon King.
I think I've heard you say that.
He's I call him the Demon King because of that mission.
Okay.
He was particularly hard, but he's known as the Desert Tyrant. They all got these names like that.
And they all have some kind of nickname.
Yeah. So we'll go with but I want to, what was it? I think Electron would be a good way to segue into World because Electron, they call him the Blazing Black Dragon because he was, I thought it was a weird name, but it makes sense because he's fire and he got the other elements and stuff like that. But his main thing was his elements was unstable.
Okay.
And he could actually go, he's a walking cataclysm is what he was.
Oh, wow.
So he can definitely cause a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot of devastation. And there was something called Dire Morales, which looks like Fatalis, but had volcanoes for shoulders. And
I want to say I've seen that one.
I think it was in Try. He was the last monster in Try. You find him in the water.
Great try.
I believe.
I've never seen it.
I didn't fight him too much. I don't know much about him, but I believe he was the one that can actually just destroy the world. But then we go to like smaller. I want to go with the smaller monsters too. Which y'all know about the Angry Pickle, right?
Oh my God! Yes.
The Angry Pickle about Joe.
Devil Joe.
Oh yeah, Devil Joe, man. Oh my God.
They call him. He was the world eater. I think is what they would call him because he had an insatiable appetite. Like he's actually got to the point where he can fight off Elder Dragons and whatnot. So he's pretty damn strong. And Basil Juice or Geese, if you want to call him that, he I forgot what they called him, but they tried to make him out as bad as Devil Joe, but I don't think they pulled off.
He's definitely a bad man pajama, but I don't think it definitely has the same draw and appeal as Devil Show.
No. But there was one monster that reached Elder Dragon levels, but not. How do I say it?
It's not actually an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, he's not an Elder Dragon, but he reached those levels. And I'll explain how. It's Raging Brachydios. He was in I think it was in 4U, but in this one in the world, he like you fight him, he's huge. He's bigger than any Brachydios. But you get to this one point,
Punch you one.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure because it was that or Glavinus, and I was like, which one was which?
blue and green. But he, once you go to a certain area, he punches the ground so hard that it causes lava to come everywhere. But he becomes uncapturable, and you can't, or I think you can't still flash him, but you can't capture him because he's too strong. Now, what else is like
that's
God.
That's one of the signature traits of an Elder Dragon.
Holy shit.
You pushed him to an ultimate level that he's unleashing all his power. He's going all out. And I thought that was amazing. He's my number one monster.
That's really cool.
He beat out my boy Zenogre. It's the first time that ever happened. But in the music, it's just amazing. Oh, Monster Hunter music.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's so crazy too, because like every monster that you fight has different music that plays when you're fighting it too.
Except some of those weaker
like,
ones just have a general map theme.
Yeah, it's still though like how much effort they put into these games, and like how they have so many different monsters have distinct music cues. So even if you don't see the monster, when that music cue starts, Devil Show.
So that's Basil Geese.
Basil Geese, yeah.
Whenever another monster roars, he gets attracted to it and will come in. And so you'll be playing, and then you'll start hearing that music change, and he'll come crashing down and explode. It's so annoying, and I love him.
But it's great. That's the music is just another reason why this is such a great franchise and deserves more recognition.
Oh yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. All right. So what you just told us your favorite, your number one monster, Adam. What is your favorite monster, and why is it Great Jagras?
Listen, out of all the Great Jaggies, he is the one that has the best dreadlocks.
The greatest Jaggers.
The greatest. Oh my god,
that thing was fucking huge.
Mine's Zenogre. He was talking about it earlier. I think it was the flagship of the second game.
No, that was Tigrex.
Was it Tigrex?
It's a Monster Hunter portable set. Actually, I don't think that one came.
Considering I've only played 2, it surprises me how long some of these monsters have actually been in the series. Some of these monsters
have been here. Like I didn't realize Barroth?
Which was
Mud Monster.
Barroth.
This is not his first appearance. I don't remember when he came in, but yeah, no, he's not new.
Third try.
Okay.
Monster Hunter third. Yeah, Tigrex was the second one. I think that was only in Japan, portable second. And I think Zenogre was off the portable. I can't remember when he came in actually.
Yeah, but he's...
Now, why is he your favorite?
Because first of all, isn't he the usurper?
Yes.
So he is the one that dethrones the kings. Because first of all, he and Rathalos, the biggest flagship monster of any of them, have this huge fucking rivalry. They hate each other and will constantly throw hands.
More lore.
Yeah, I know, but I guess for anybody that doesn't know, Zenogre is basically this giant tiger wolf thing.
It's got like 2 little horns.
He's big, and he's a big wolf, and he's brutish to be like the Onis.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, he's electric.
He jumps all over the place.
But he is the most memorable fight I had in 4U. Because that was back when I was still doing some of the single player stuff, and at that point it was kind of like, whatever. And then seeing him, like actually fighting him for the first time, he was jumping around everywhere. I was having to dive everywhere just to avoid getting hit.
His sound. His howl.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, so I knew he was going to be in in World's Iceborne. Right. So I was the entire story like, let's go.
Honestly, the entire reason they sold you on Iceborne.
It's not the entire reason.
Well, it's a big part of it because you were like, I don't know if I want to pay like basically for another game, and then they announced Zenogre, and you're like, shit, take my money.
Here we go. But
you got so excited.
because the story ended and we hadn't seen it. I'm like, well, I know he's in here. Is he just kind of whatever? And then you're going into this little bit of post game stuff, and you're gathering tracks, and you just hear in the background, you hear, and I'm like, I started running off, sword and shield out, like,
We actually named our squad Zinogre Pack.
yeah, because in one of our GTA things, it was Wolfpack.
Wolfpack,
So I was making a pun on that.
Yeah.
That cutscene though when he fought Diablos and Rathalos, when he's taking them on.
Yeah! Because the Diablos and Rathalos are like fighting each other, and you just hear, goo! Goo! And he just calmly walks in and wrecks shit.
Remember how he looked at you?
Yeah, he looks at you like, I'll get to you.
Yeah, he's like, I'll get it back to you. I have bigger fish to
that
fry.
was so cool.
And I'm trying not to piss my pants out of excitement.
But I will go ahead and say, a monster came close to dethroning him in World. And that is 100% Nergigante. His design is gorgeous.
The Eater of Elders.
The Eater of Elders. He fucking I'll let you go into
Which,
this.
funnily enough, is my favorite monster. So because it is my most memorable fight, like you said with Zinogre from 4U, that is my most memorable fight. I count Monster Hunter World as my first game because I barely played 4U.
It is the first one you really sunk time into.
And it took so long for us to beat him, and it was such... it was such a mountain for us to get over.
All of his weapons look so cool.
Yeah, he is so fucking edgy, and I'm just such an edgy person without trying to be.
Blades are claws,
which I would love for them to actually make that an actual, like, another weapon is like claws. I think that'd be kind of cool.
It would definitely play a little too similar to Dual Blades.
Yeah, I know. It's just aesthetically it'd be cool.
I think you would have loved the Prowler in Generation X, or Double Cross Monster Hunter. You can play as the Palico.
Yeah!
What?
Yeah, in Generation Ultimate, or at least maybe possibly regular Generation as well. You have different fighting styles, which was almost a precursor to the mantles and the health booster, because there's different stuff that I watched some people. The sword and shield had basically a Shoryuken where you uppercut, and then I don't remember which style it was, but somebody had what they call the Hunter's Fountain, and it was basically just a little health fountain. And one of the hunting styles was Palico. You get to run around as a Palico.
That's amazing. But I love the design of, going back to Nergigante real quick, I love his design. He is terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Gets your adrenaline pumping. It is never not fun for me to fight him. Watching his spikes just grow and turn black is so great. It's just such a memorable monster and fight for me that he has become my favorite. Zinogre is a close second because I love Zinogre. He is so cool, but Nergigante just holds that special place for me.
I completely agree. If this had been my first game, Nergigante all the way. It would have been 100% Nergigante. He's so both in your face and subtly terrifying.
Yes.
Just by like you said, the black spikes.
Presence alone.
Because once the spikes are done, he does a basically one-hit kill dive bomb. And just watching that happen, just knowing it's basically the clock to your demise, is so terrifying.
Because he goes up in the air and we literally go, run! We're just scattering.
We didn't have time for a flash pod, we were running. All his moves feel fair. That's one of the things that he is a lot of them feel like, wow, I wonder how I could have dodged that.
The same can be said for a lot of monsters. They do a very good job of making it feel
fair.
There are some where it's like, okay, that move is bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's not that often, which I do love about the series. That it's never like, this is all just bullshit, this isn't fair, it's not a fair fight. It's like, no, I just have to get better, I need better armor. It never feels like it's the game's fault. It's like, there's something I need to do to improve.
Right.
About Nergigante, y'all know he's actually the hero of the story.
Yes, because he was trying to. Yeah, he was basically. Wasn't he trying to drive away?
I have a dumbfounded look on my face right now.
He was trying to drive away Zora Magdaros, correct?
He was trying to eat him.
Eat him, okay.
But he's an animal. He's doing what he does. But he's the hero because he's the balance of the ecosystem.
My boy.
Because if you notice, he's the only elder dragon that don't got some elemental bullshit going on.
Yeah.
He's the only one, and that's because those spikes are so he can just take those tank hits and then
he just eats them.
Yeah. So he
dragon gets out of hand, he eats it.
And then him and Xeno'jiiva are tied that way because Xeno'jiiva tosses off those pheromones to bring them there, they pass away, they die, and their body gets absorbed by them. And so there are guys there to eat some of that, so he doesn't get craziness. Holy crap! Y'all got any more things on y'all favorite monster? Because I was going to tell y'all about Safi Jiva, and Fatalis, as well as Rathalos.
Rathalos is another one of my. He's like top 3 for me.
I didn't like his fight as much this game. Maybe it's just because I played it so much.
Yeah.
There's certain things, but at the very least, I think my only negatives on any monsters are the ones where it's like the way to beat them is to have a certain skill equipped. Kind of like, what is it? The Plague Monster.
Oh, Valhazak. Fuck that.
Nightshade Palamu. Where it's like, it just puts you to sleep left and right. It's like, they're not hard, it's just they have bullshit.
What was the other Valhazak?
Nightshade Valhazak.
Black Veil.
Black Veil, thank you. Nightshade Palamu, I just
Fuck that guy.
Valhazak, he's my top favorite too. One of my top 5.
Really?
It's a dead dragon. I love it.
I mean, aesthetically, design is fucking amazing. I hate the fight.
It's fight was too easy, and people were complaining, so they made Black Veil.
Fucking fair.
But damn, now I gotta get into that. It's just a theory I had because Black Veil, when you read all that stuff, it's all about the underworld and things like that. And I was thinking of a connection of between him and Ologaren, because as you know, Ologaren actually fights Valhazak.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He's like one of the only ones to have a fight with an Elder Dragon that's not an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, since Valhazak is basically the guy with dead,
has some too.
Roger, yeah. I'm talking at least base game.
How do you, real quick? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but how do you see those?
It's incredibly rare because most of the time
if there's an Elder Dragon in the area, there's not.
It's generally specific quests or certain Odegaron fights in the right areas. Valhazak will show up.
Yeah,
okay.
There's some event. There's an event once it does it, but if you fight Valhazak, Odegaron will be there, but you really gotta draw.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is ain't no point really unless you want to see it.
Yeah, it's there for the to look cool. But it's like, it ain't gonna help that much. It ain't gonna. Yeah. What's the trouble?
If it's not worth the trouble, definitely. But no, what I was thinking, since he's like the guy that's talking about underworld, he runs that stuff, which actually connects with Xeno'jiiva. But I thought, since those two are always close together and they actually fight, what if Ologaren is like the Cerberus to Valhazak's realm, because he is a demon dog.
Yo, I kind of like
that.
I
actually really dig that.
Yeah. He's all about tearing and shredding and getting rid of decaying things and stuff like that. Ologaren.
That's why he's in the Rotten Vales, because everything's decaying.
Yeah, and Valhazak's the one that runs that. And what I was saying, how that connects with Xeno'jiiva is Xeno'jiiva, if you know what Xeno means alien or false,
yes,
and whatnot. And all his stuff is talking about actually the afterlife as well, tearing the souls away and everything. But so that's how I say he's connected to Valhazak. But we'll skip then it matures to Safi Jiva. And I'm not sure what Safi means, but basically he is he's the emperor of the world. That's what it goes. And if you hear him and you see his stuff, it's talking about he's the emperor of this and that. He draws his earth energy and everything. And his roar is amazing. It's like a gong. It goes boom, and it roars. I can't wait till I get to that fight. But so when he goes, it gets rid of all the soul everything. But he's an emperor. He's a big dragon. He's an emperor. He's a big bad. It's like, okay, what's the deal? It's kind of what is he a big bad for? It's interesting. He shows up. So I'll skip ahead and go to Fatalis, and how Fatalis is the black dragon, and how bad of a guy he was. Cause he destroyed the whole kingdom in the night. It's because they pissed him off, because they did the I think it was I think it's the Great Dragon Weapon. They took a bunch of Elder Dragons and meshed them together to make these Bio Dragon Weapon things.
Okay.
And so they had a war with the humans had a war with the Elder Dragons, because the Elder Dragons got pissed off. And so and then Fatalis found out and just fucked up a place called Castle Shred. So he's there, he appears, but around the time he is coming, Xenojiva gets born and turns into Safijiva. So I kind of put two and two together, and I just thought, what if the Emperor is the one that's actually supposed to save the world from the Black Dragon? What if the Red Dragon has to fight the Black Dragon?
Mm-hmm. So also, if that does kind of fit the theme of like mismashing a bunch of shit to make something, alien.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm glad they put actually a bit of lore into the Fatalis fight. There's a spoiler, not too big, but he will jump and you get stuck to his chest. What he would do, because his chest was super heat and it'll be kind of molten. What that is, what he used to do was, since people used to, what we do is we kill monsters to make weapons, and we've been doing that since like ancient times. So if you see those cannons around, those are like ancient cannons.
Right.
So Fatalis, way back in the day before he killed the castle, he got pissed about that and he started melting hunters to his skin.
That's metal as fuck.
Yes. And they say he is so strong that he can burn the world in 3 days. Like, completely just burn the world with his breath.
That's
Jesus.
And I figured out a little connection. I think Rathalos and Rathian are descended from him. Have you ever fought the Golden Rathian?
We have not yet.
There's a mode they do where their chest turns blue. It's Hellfire mode.
Okay.
Where they shoot Hellfire out now.
Oh,
but
Jesus.
Fatalis also has that in his chest where it super heats like that. And it's always kind of slightly been hinted that Rathalos is the descendant of the Fatalis.
Which would make sense because Rathalos was the flagship of the first game in which Fatalis was the final boss.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's super cool.
Damn. That is dope.
It's a lot of crazy stuff we read, man.
Oh, yeah, no, that's... If I had known about this series in high school, I would have been on the wikis all the time.
Because you used to be on Wikipedia. You do all kind of research for like a bunch of different stuff back when you were in high school.
Yeah, that's how I know a lot about Green Lantern.
Dragon Ball Z.
I know way too much about Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, the lore is... The background lore is just amazing.
It's very in-depth.
Yeah.
That especially for how little it ever actually shows up in the game, it's very in-depth.
Yeah.
Also, with what's funny to me is you are hunting dragons that can burn the world in 3 days, and this game is silly as hell.
Yeah.
It's like you're wearing, one of the fucking favorite things is basically a giant little snake head that extends like a whole foot off your head. The wigglers. There's crossovers galore.
Yeah.
In 4U, what I can remember, there was a Mega Man crossover, Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda, Mario,
depending on which game it was.
4U. I'm talking specifically.
Oh, just 4U.
Okay. I want to say there was
Metroid, yeah.
There was Metroid. You could get her gun as a heavy bow gun. I think there was Street Fighter. I want to say Devil May Cry. I don't remember. I know that's at least in World.
I know, yeah, because I have Dante's coat in World, and my character looks badass.
But the crossovers that these games have done are nuts. In World, there's Witcher,
yeah, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
That's so dumb, and I love it. It's like, what is?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
You can get what's her face's Eloy. Get her bow.
Aloy.
That one. Eloy was something else completely.
But yeah, it's just all the fucking crossovers. This game could be the edgiest thing in the world, and it does not take itself seriously.
It does not take itself seriously enough for that, and it is just a gorgeous game.
And
it's so much fun. It deserves all the recognition. It deserves more recognition, which is why I'm so glad that they did World the way they did.
Exactly.
And just opened it up for so many more people.
All right. Final question for the night. Let's say next week they announce Monster Hunter World 2. What do you want to see in it? Specifically, one big thing. But if you got many, what you got? All right. Well, while y'all thinking, because I sprang the question, I already had it. I want to see Gore Magala. They brought in a lot of Elder Dragons from other games. They brought in a lot of he's not even an Elder Dragon, is he?
Who?
Gore Magala?
He is.
He is? Okay, cool. Yeah. But they brought in a lot of flagship monsters from other games. I love Gore Magala. His enraged form is still the way I see him, where his wings spread out and he has like little hands on his wings that stick up, and his feelers stick up. He is intimidating as hell. His blight system is very interesting because it's like if you let it, you get hit with a blight, and if you let it sit for a while, it basically decreases all of your stats. Or if you aggro enough, it turns into like it purifies and boosts all your stats.
Frenzy.
Yes!
Whoa! That's cool.
I love that. It was so cool. I want to see him again, specifically because his armor, very much like Nurgle, it was badass, edgy as hell, and it's just, I miss him. I want to see him again. Also, I would like to see Narcilla. The giant spider.
You'll be happy in Rise. I got a new spider now.
No, I don't want a new spider. I don't like spider. I just like Narcilla. And there's a bug in that. I don't remember what his name is, but I like it too.
See, for me, if the world too, what I would like to see in it, a specific monster. Well, I don't think I have any specific monsters because what they did with World, they just blew my mind. I want to see those fights again. Those great, fantastical, majestic fights. The Cove Terrors, the Raging Brackies, the Fatalis type of fights. I want to see more stuff like that.
The hardest balls in game fights.
Yes, the one with the spectacles. Cove Terror, she melts the fucking ceiling.
We still haven't fought her because it was always like the raids or whatever. Because we've never been able to actually fight her.
That was a good time because they switched it up a bit. But how she melts the ceiling, it all comes down. Raging Brachydius, when he hits the ground, it all goes up in flames. Freaking Fatalis when he goes to a super mode and lights fire to the whole goddamn arena. I mean, more stuff like that, and more of those raids. Those raids are pretty fun. I love sieges. That's what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah. See.
Oh, and the squadron system. I want that to be a little more. I want to add a little more to it. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of you're just in the squadron together. I want to have like a little bit something more like and stuff.
Okay, so instead of just, hey, this is an easy way to meet up with your friends and say you're in a guild, it's have something do that. Whether it's like almost a low key competition to see who's got the best record in the squad, or
like with other squadrons. The main thing I would say is points, whatever. If they take away anything, if they hear this, is I want to be able for us to build a guild hall using monster materials that we get.
Dude, have like a almost like a
Capcom, you better be listening.
Like have like a trophy head on the wall of a monster you fought.
Yes, you go like you need these type of materials to build the hall, to get the decorations, to get anything else.
Curtains made of a certain monster's wings.
It's like
that would be so cool because then I would love, like, because the Gathering Hub is fun. It's very fun to just hang out with your friends.
Yeah, it's great.
But being like, oh, no, there's the Gathering Hub, and then there's the Guild Hall, which is the Gathering Hub. But as a guild, you guys customize it.
Yes.
I would be so into that.
That would be so cool.
There's Capcom, if you need some materials like this, you just call it the Squadron Quarters, and there you go.
Squadron Quarters, there you go, yeah.
Half the work, I just programmed.
You already gave us a room in Iceborne, just that, but, like, more cooperative and more monster parts.
It's like, easy peasy, living sweet.
I don't know. I guess just mainly more diverse monsters, not more variety. Not because so many of the monsters in World, while there are some really cool ones, most of them look reptilian, like dragons or like lizards. And I want some more different ones like monkeys, insects, just more crazy creative monsters. So it's not all another scaly thing with wings.
That's one of my biggest regrets with you is your main exposure is Iceborne or is World.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten to see some of the creative ass shit that they've done.
And I know that they've done some really cool stuff. I just haven't really gotten to see it because I dropped off for you so early on.
All right, so let's give a little an extra caveat for you. Let's say what crossover would you want to see?
Fuck, why do you do this to me?
Because it's fun.
That's fair. Crossover. What crossover?
I'm trying to think of another the topic of
Star Wars would be cool,
Fucking
Jamie.
Jesus, if I could get a lightsaber, fucking insane.
Red Dead.
Yo, Red Dead.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to get like a heavy bow gun or something that looks like a cowboy revolver or like a cowboy gun from that or something. Have something that looks like it's from the Wild West, some horse monster or something. I don't know.
# bring back Kashalla's heavy bow gun from previous nights.
Yes.
Would do it.
Alright, so picture this. They've already done a crossover with The Witcher. Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That could give you some really fucking cool weapons.
Imagine a cyber dragon though, or something like
Ooh!
that. Like take inspiration from Horizon Zero Dawn. Like these mechanical dinosaur things, but turn it like more cyberpunk.
That
would be cool.
I'll take it even as an event.
Yeah,
exactly. Then with the cyberpunk weapons, it would be like you wouldn't have to be like, oh, you can't bring out Witcher weapons for every class because of the way The Witcher works.
Right.
Because there's no weapons like any of this in Cyberpunk, just general theme works perfectly, and they can look really cool.
Oh, yeah.
They touched on some of that because the Wyvern Ignition Greatsword is a rocket-powered sword.
Yes, I love that thing!
What sword?
Wyvern Ignition. It was one of the first event greatswords. I think it was fan-made?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Fan-made. It's basically a great sword that looks a little more futuristic, and at the very end of the blade, there's 2 rockets. So it's just...
Have you shown that? You might have shown that to me.
Maybe.
I don't know. But that's fucking cool.
I'll definitely say they came, what y'all did, what they did with the weapons, how none of them are, because every single weapon in all the other ones except for World, they all were crazy creative. Or that's one thing I forgot to. That's my other biggest complaint in World. Sorry, continue. No, it's basically what you're gonna say. Shit was like.
Each weapon had about 6 or 7 really cool designs,
and then there were a lot that looked like a basic bone or iron weapon with the skin just kind of taped on.
Yeah, just very uninspired.
Yeah, the armor was pretty cool.
Armor done. I know that.
The armor was great.
Yeah, and those I know a lot of people complained about the graphics of it, how it was like they went for a more realistic look. But I love it.
They look great. I love them.
Like it's okay that Rise is kind of cartoony, like some sort of weird mix of old and new.
Yeah.
But I do like that kind of so they met right in the middle with Rise. They go a little bit more towards World. It'll be good. Just brighten things up a bit.
See, I think both have their place. Like Rise is the cartoony design looks great, very cel shaded, almost like almost Legend of Zelda-esque, where it's like kind of glossy, but. I do agree, make everything a little more colorful, a little more imaginative and fun, but keep the art design of a World, and I think it's perfect.
I thought of something that I would love in World 2.
Finish this out.
A Kraken fight.
Yo! There was one, wasn't there?
There was. The damn skulls. There you fight these 2 skull dragons, their tentacles, and you fight them, and you knock them out, and after you knock them out, a giant kraken comes out of the ground and it's shooting lasers with the damn dragons at you.
That's amazing. There's a pirate sign there, and I'm like, like on a ship fighting tentacles would be cool.
Well, y'all can get rid of pirates and dragons. Fuck them.
I'm just glad they took out underwater combat.
Plesioff, Velosioff, Geotodos, they can all go to hell.
Yeah, like I know, like, and even with Geotodos, like you can do water monster fights. Above water, keep the monsters. A lot of them look really cool. Do not make me swim. I fucking hate those. I'm glad they took them out of 4U because I watched some of them. Like that's the most frustrating shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like I had some fun with it, but I can see why they took it out. Good job on being creative, Capcom. I ain't gonna hate you on that. It's like, but hey, let's try something else.
Yeah,
don't fucking do aerial combat. I swear to God.
I was about to say aerial combat is just water combat without bubbles.
Right. Oh, when you said a cyberpunk monster, I wanted to mention I forgot his name, but there's a jet monster who I think it was the flagship for one of the generations or something, or 4 or something. It's like it's a monster that it doesn't flap; it has jets. Like its wings are jets, and it looks metallic and shit like that. It's black.
Whoa!
It's pretty fucking sick.
That's fucking cool.
My goddamn, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's where we're going to wrap it up.
I think that'll about do it for Monster Hunter. Thank you again, Kareem, so much for joining us.
No problem.
We loved having you. Gonna shout out Angela real quick. Thank you so much for running the Instagram. She's been here. She caught some behind the scenes footage and photos of our somewhat beautiful faces and Kareem's godly face.
So check out our Instagram if you want to see the Zenobra shirts. Me and
Yeah,
today.
rocking them.
My great fucked up shirt.
My shirt that represents the anyways.
But yeah, at Castaway Brothers Podcast on Instagram. Please go check it out. Follow us there. You get to see us, our dogs, which are our mascots, and other great stuff. Angela does a fantastic job of running that Instagram. So thank you once again, Angela.
Thank you, love.
Also, Adam didn't know about this. This is a surprise to even him.
So what now?
But by the time this goes up, we should be on Apple Podcasts and
fucking what?
and Spotify. I've been working on setting it up, so we should be on actual podcasting things.
Ma, we made it! Ma!
I'm so proud of you, sweetie.
Ma, you sound different, but I thank you nonetheless. I'm sorry, bro.
But yeah, so we'll still be posting it on here on YouTube, but we should be on Apple Podcasts. I'm gonna try like Spotify, Stitcher, wherever else I can get us on there. That should be hopefully by the time this goes up, we should be on there, and hopefully I will have what I have on this computer backlogged up on there. So like our Mandalorian should be able to get our Avatar and our Batman episodes. I don't know if we have anything past that. I will have to go and look.
Oh yeah, that was on your old laptop, wasn't it?
A lot of it was.
Yeah. I'll get into that later.
But I think that about does it. Make sure, please, like it, subscribe to us. Let us know what you think, what you would like to hear us talk about, because we would love to hear your feedback. We want to know what you want to hear, because it could be something we've never seen or heard or experienced before. We would love to go and experience these things and let y'all know what we thought about this stuff that you love or hate or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we want to talk about whatever you guys want to hear, just as much as we want to talk about what we want to talk about. So, if that made any sense. But so yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking around with us and hearing us geek out about one of our favorite video game franchises ever.
We never even talked about the movie. It sucks. Continue.
Yeah, the movie. The only thing to watch the movie for is the amazingly well done monsters. The monsters look fantastic. Other than that, it's about what we expected.
It's worse than what I expected. I was hoping it would be fun, bad.
Much worse than I thought.
Not a great story. The acting was okay, but Ron Perlman was randomly in it for some reason.
We're not talking about this.
Horribly miscast. But
let's keep this blessed.
But thank you guys so much for checking it out. And in the meantime, we love you, stay weird, and we'll see you next time.